Hi, everyone. Good morning. It's Brad Summer. Sitting in here on Jeff Burke's desk. You get to see me today because we don't have a formal presentation. This is more a follow-up to the three chargeback series that we did a few weeks ago. Before we get to that, first, I want to remind everyone, tomorrow we're starting the first of three on PCI compliance and trust wave. I think it's crucial for all ISOs and sales partners to be on it. It's going to be really informative as well as practical. So the first one starts tomorrow at 10 o'clock. With that said, this is really just a follow-up, so I'm going to go through some things that I want to review and remind you about, and then if you guys have any questions, please type away. So this will be a pretty brief call. Reminder, please utilize the chargeback department. You have the number. That's what they're there for. Dominic's group is there to help and support your merchants and yourself when you have help. I've had a couple of chargeback situations since the calls where they've been very helpful, where merchants have had questions, so please utilize that number. Two, reminder, when you sign up for an account, you need to confirm with the merchant where they want retrieval and chargeback notices to go to. I think the default is illegal, but I'm not 100% sure, but the point is, you need to ask them where. I just signed up this big 20 location place and I didn't ask them. So everything's going to the legal and they actually have an alternative address where they want chargebacks and retrievals to get to because they'll get them quicker and they want as much time as possible to respond. So make that part of your regular course of business to ask where they want retrieval and chargeback letters to go to. And depending where they want to go to, you are going to convey that on the application and to support. So that's really important, as well as a reminder, if they want them faxed instead of mailed to get them even quicker, you need to ask that question and then convey that to Ruben's team. The point of this, as we did in the whole series, is you're having discussions besides pricing with your merchants. You're becoming their advisor. They're looking at you differently, and you're just a trusted person who's helping them do business in a better way. Also, reminder, when the merchant is in a card not present situation, there's a lot of helpful hints you can give them besides how to handle chargebacks so that they get prevented or avoided. Some of the things I've done in the past is they really need to think about what are the situations where they're more at risk. So if they're dealing with a customer that's new and they're charging an amount that's out of the ordinary, that's a red flag as far as I'm concerned. And that's, again, something you want to convey with your merchants when you sign them up or even when you're trying to get them, because, again, most people are not talking about these things. And they make that part of their procedure, and you're going to help them avoid chargebacks, which is the easiest way to save them money more than showing them how to defend one. Again, I had a liquor store the other day that they just had someone, new customer, delivery, and it wasn't that out of the ordinary, and they did the delivery. And then the next day, it happened again, and before it happened the second time, they actually got a call from the real cardholder saying, I've never charged this card, so it was fraud. And that protected them from the second charge. But the first charge went through, and they're going to lose the chargeback because they didn't have enough procedures in place to protect them against it. So it's another example of a red flag that you can give your customers so they feel like they're more informed. And again, other people are not doing this on the street. With that said, again, Brett really wanted me to hit home when it's card not present, when it's really deliveries, what are the things you can do to help the merchant? First and foremost, you can tell them about the different mobile options out there right now, whether that's the USAE Pay product that you heard about last week on the call or some of the other ones out there. You want to give them that as an option. From my experience, most people who are doing deliveries don't want to make that commitment or don't want to give the delivery man that kind of responsibility. But again, you want to have the discussion. Second, when you're doing this, again, you want to suggest to the merchant that if it's a new customer and it's a large amount, you should ask for a copy of their driver's license or some kind of identification as a one-time, and they should explain that to their merchants that that's just ordinary course. And once you do it once, you won't need to ask for it again. Those are all things that prevent fraud from happening so that you won't have to get into the chargeback scenario. And again, if it's in a large amount, a lot of merchants are happy to get a large sale, but if it's fraud, they're going to end up getting burnt on it. So you want to remind them of all these red flags and how to protect. And again, tying this all together, you're just, again, becoming an advisor and not just arguing or defending price. And by doing all these things, the relationship and the retention rate of your base is going to change completely. And we're going to build upon this tomorrow in PCI, which is another one that, from my experience, a lot of the sales partners avoid, either because they don't know enough about it or they think it's a difficult conversation. And you can turn that from a difficult conversation into a win for you, which, what is the goal of professional development for you guys? Add accounts, retain accounts, get referrals, and add margin. And reminder again, one thing I left out in the review is when you fill out the application, you want to make sure you have the pricing right or leave the default in for retrievals and chargebacks, because now that you're adding the value, the profit should be there, and that will add margin. Hopefully you don't have a lot of customers getting a lot of chargebacks. When you do, it'll add some revenue as well. That's really just my follow-up and review. If anyone has any questions, I think I have one here. Hold on one second. So I have one question again. What is the number? It's in the last presentation, which is now part of Epic and EPSU University. But for the person who asked it, I'll email you the direct number again. Okay. That's the only other question I had. And we do have a pretty small group of people on. I appreciate you being on. That's really all I had for today. I urge you again to follow up or review the past chargeback presentations. That has a lot of substantive material in it. I thought it was very helpful. And most importantly, now I urge you to be on all 3 of the PCI TrustWave series. So A, you'll learn a lot more about TrustWave and PCI. You'll learn how to help your merchants. And we're going to be rolling out new products in the next probably month or 2 that will change the how we handle it. So you need to understand the existing product and how we support our customers with TrustWave. And then in the future, learn about the new products that are coming out. And one other reason to be on it, my perspective, there may be some merchants that the existing lower priced TrustWave product is better for, and you're only going to have a certain more time to register them under that product. Then we're coming up with a more robust, more sophisticated set of products, which are better for the merchants. But again, for some where they don't need all these products, right now you can offer them a lesser price, watered down support, which again for some is enough. And if it is, you're better off registering them, getting them involved now versus having to give them a more sophisticated product, which again for most is great, but for some you have what we have now, and it just gives you a choice to do it either way. So with that said, if there's no more questions, I'll email Ken that number he asked for. And other than that, I hope all of you will be on the call tomorrow at 10. Thank you.